Second Floor Sports. He's been Carlton. I'm Matias Weilmann, as per usual.
Changed yet.
If you, it's something funny before we get into our whole spiel to start the show.
Is the whole show not just the big spiel?
Yeah, for sure. It was really funny because when we had Ethan Farina on last show, he was below us, but it was inverted. So looking at my screen, you were to my left, but when it came out on YouTube, you were to my right.
And you
so
said something.
The show was just Ethan Farina right below us, Ben to my left, and you were just very clearly to my right, and I just look like a schmuck.
Yeah, well, we could have told you didn't know your lefts and your rights.
Well, I know my lefts and my rights. I just look like a schmuck because I am a schmuck. Very
cool.
Very fair. If you
are listening, that out of the way.
If you're listening to us on Spotify, Anchor, Google Pods, Apple Pods, or of course Breaker, thanks so much for tuning in. If you're watching us on YouTube, I think all 5 or 6 viewers we usually get on our episodes. Thanks so much. If you're watching us
up to 8 at one point with Ethan on Tuesday.
Okay. And if you're watching us on Instagram Live, welcome.
What's up, Frank?
I would just like to say, Second Floor Sports has made its TikTok debut.
Oh my God.
So you can follow us on TikTok at Second Floor Sports. I really
Does that mean I have to download TikTok now?
Yeah, probably you should.
Oh,
look, it didn't make me happy. It didn't make me happy that I did, but
dude, we got to talk to Peter Rader about how to get viral on TikTok. You saw his thread today?
He's posted something for the Orioles, right?
Well, so you know how he interned with the Orioles during the season?
Uh-huh.
I guess he's still working for them, and he posted posted some TikTok to the Orioles account that it went super viral, and he posted a whole thread on his Twitter today about why he posted it, basically just a how to go viral thread. Maybe he knows what he's doing. Maybe we should consult.
Yeah, if there's one thing I know is that Peter Rader knows what he's doing.
Yeah, for real.
Kid is a wizard.
He's a tank.
All right, yeah, let's stop talking about people that our listeners don't know who the hell they are.
Yeah, I think Frank might tangentially know who Peter Rader is.
Honestly, let's plug him. Peter Rader. I think his handle is something like that. He was
look him up on Twitter.
He was a freshman last year. Did all the coverage for making videos and photography, a lot of that stuff for the Ithaca Bombers. Obviously our alma mater. Not yours yet.
Not yet. In less than a month though.
Yeah. True. Wow.
Crazy shit.
Damn. Pretty crazy. And he's the man is that's a wizard right there. But anyways,
let's get into it. We got to talk. Obviously, first piece of before we get actually into the draft. God damn, man. God fucking damn it. Klay Thompson tears his Achilles.
Is there a more just league-wide likable player than Klay Thompson?
I don't know, man. Literally everything I've been seeing on Twitter today is just disappointment. I've always been in the camp of I didn't even when the Warriors had KD, I had so much fun just watching such an incredible team style of basketball that I didn't hate them the way some people did. But obviously without KD, I was so excited last year, and then up until literally when this morning it officially came out that he tore his Achilles.
We knew last night.
We knew it was bad last night. We didn't.
Well, someone my cousin had sent me a verified source of someone that sometimes gets scoops, and he's I was right about this other thing with that. He's I really hope I'm wrong about this, but I'm hearing it's an Achilles tear.
Yeah, we didn't know officially till this morning. It's just so disappointing, man. I was so excited to see what the Warriors could do running, Steph, Klay, Draymond back, which I don't know if you guys remember, had a pretty solid run there for a little bit.
Really, I wasn't familiar with that.
Yeah. It just would have been cool to see what they would have done, a full year removed from the three of them all being on the court together, going up against, LeBron in the West and all these, super teams in the West that previously didn't exist because the Warriors were so busy smoking everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Steph is Steph Curry. We know what Steph's capable of. Steph and Draymond together, you throw James Wiseman in there, which we'll get into in just a minute.
Hey, don't forget about Andrew Wiggins.
How could I forget about Andrew Wiggins?
It's tough because
it's just so frustrating.
Steph alone is fantastic, and a couple of years removed from being enough to make you a title contender. I don't know if that's the case anymore, man. And that's not because of Steph. Hear me out.
No,
hear me out. not because of Steph.
I think I know where you're going with this.
The West has just gotten so much better. And you have to acknowledge that, obviously the Warriors do not have KD anymore. And they have to rely on Andrew Wiggins for some stuff. It's tough because I think losing Klay Thompson probably knocks you out of that upper echelon of title contenders. And the tough thing.
Realistically, were they even in that?
Yeah, probably.
At full health, rank these three teams: Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, coming into the season at full health. I know my three.
Yeah, probably the order you just said it.
Exactly.
But that's still the top three teams in the West, probably, and at least contending.
Probably.
I mean, look, you get to the playoffs. You have Steph, you have Klay, you have Draymond, and if Wiseman is good enough that he's making an impact for them, no one wants to play.
Wiseman's like your fourth best starter. That's pretty solid. I mean, again, who knows what James Wiseman's going to look like on an NBA floor? Yeah. We'll find out in less than a month, which is
that's what I'm saying. They were very much entrenched. They were a contender.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was interesting because the news was confirmed right before the draft, and it was like, well, this could go one of two ways. Maybe the Warriors stray away and get more guard help because of that.
For a hot second, I thought they would consider LaMelo.
I really didn't, and here's the reason why. I thought that it makes sense for them to go that way, but at the same time, this isn't a good center class. It's not a good shooting guard class.
It's Wiseman. The center class is Wiseman. That's it.
Yeah. Well, you were debating between, do I take a guard now or do I take a center? I still think at this point, you still take Wiseman just because we needed center help for more. And I mean,
needed front court help. And we had been hearing the Warriors were connected to Wiseman for a long time now. We were talking about this last night when you were watching the draft, but the top two picks, we kind of knew what they were going to be. And realistically, at least for me personally, once I saw MJ sign off on LaMelo to the Hornets, I kind of assumed LaMelo was going to the Hornets as well. But after that is where it got pretty interesting.
Yeah. And I'm gonna pull up my tweet deck now because breaking news: Brad Wanamaker did not get an offer, so it's gonna be a free agent. Oof,
damn,
big blow. They have their trade exception. I think the Iguodala one. That's like 14-15 mil.
Oh, apparently the Knicks are aggressively going after Gordon Hayward.
Oh, that's interesting.
From Mark Stein. Interesting.
That's something the Warriors can use and get some guard help. But this is a huge blow to them, and it's a huge blow to the NBA because we really wanted to see what do the Warriors look like without KD now. And look, you can be a Warriors fan, and obviously you're going to be excited for that. But look, you're a Knicks fan, I'm a Spurs fan, and we both really wanted to see what.
Such a good mood. I was prepared to not talk about the Knicks till the 8th pick, and then I was going to. Come on, let me be excited up until that point.
Sorry.
Take a guess what I think about the next draft class this year. Well,
I think you really liked it.
Let's get into the draft because that's kind of what we're here to talk about, at least the first 45 minutes here. I mean, I love the Anthony Edwards pick. I think the biggest thing for me, and we'll get to our big winners and losers of the draft after we go through the important selections. I think of Wiseman, LaMelo, and Anthony Edwards is the best combination of talent and fit for the team that he ended up going to. He doesn't need to be ball dominant with D'Angelo Russell and Cat there. There's a perfect fit need for an athletic wing on the roster. Mm-hmm. It's tough to tell if people were kind of overthinking Anthony Edwards, his shot making and his decision making just because he was asked to do literally everything at Georgia. Mm-hmm. I think he's walking into a position where he can maximize his strengths and really play to what his strengths are currently while not having the pressure of being like that lead ball handler on him.
Mm-hmm. I have some interesting thoughts on the fit part.
Okay.
I feel like before we go into our picks, though, because you put
they weren't our picks. I didn't make any of the picks.
The rundown here, and if anyone's ever seen our rundown, we fuck around quite a bit on it. It is a mess. It
works for us.
I really want to read the 3 points you have on the rundown here.
The top 3.
No, I'm sorry, I missed the top one. So I have Ben live draft thoughts, but of course thoughts are not actual thoughts. It's THOTS.
Yep.
First one, the letter O, Obi Toppin. I think that's fantastic. I think that's fantastic. We're gonna get into our Obi what Clyde will say first for Obi.
Oh my God, it's a mortal lock. Obi Toppin not stopping. That is the mortal lock of mortal locks.
Yeah.
If
Next
you can
one.
find a way to bet on that being Clyde's first like Obi Toppin catchphrase, throw the whole bag at it. I'm telling you.
Mortgage your house on it. Adam Silver got a chrome dome. Well said.
Does he not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Does he not?
I
was watching so for one funny thing too is like I'm texting Matias, but once the draft actually got going, I'm not watching on cable. I was watching in various other ways. So I'm behind. I was about 2 minutes behind. So I had to tell Matias not to text me any picks before the Knicks. But just there was one shot where Adam Silver was like on the stage and they did like a lighting change or something. It looked like a flashlight was coming off this man's forehead. Like he is so bald.
I very much enjoyed just seeing Adam Silver just standing there and clapping by himself.
Yeah.
All in all,
I love it.
All in all, it went well. Like it didn't look besides like mics and feedbacks and stuff like that. Like, next one. There's no LeBron in this class. Thanks, Jay Williams, LMFAO.
That's a direct quote.
Yeah.
I like for these guys, for the draft analysts that are on ESPN's broadcast. Like, there's how many times can you possibly say the same things? Like, it's difficult, but that's just such a bad line.
That's
really?
Probably
there's
just
no LeBron in this draft class.
No, okay, but you know what they meant. They meant they meant there's no like surefire number one. Like
there is not another LeBron in any other draft class.
Okay, no, but they probably didn't mean a LeBron type of player. I hope not. But then again, they compared Devin Vassell to Anthony Davis, which I don't understand.
Did they?
Yeah, it made no sense.
I must have missed that one. Wow.
No, I'm assuming they meant that it's there's no surefire number one because
what's the context on that?
I don't know. Last year's draft technically had its
that
LeBron
must have just been like
honestly scoring on all three levels, good defensively.
Right, I've got an idea on why they might have compared Devin Vassell to Anthony Davis. You might have been in the situation before. You're doing some studio show for ICTV. You're like, you get halfway through a point you're making. And then you're like, what on earth am I saying? You look down at your notes, you see a name.
You mean like right now, like doing my podcast, I get halfway through a point and I'm like, what the fuck am I saying?
But I mean, like you look down at like your notes and you're like, the Anthony Davis is a lot like Devin Vassell. And you're like,
well, you want to know the worst part?
What am I talking about? What?
You want to know why that's not true? Because they had a graphic ready. They played highlights of Anthony Davis in Kentucky.
I must have been like getting food or something during whatever this segment was, but like.
Well, I missed who'd they call the Ant-Man? Anthony Edwards.
That's Anthony
right?
Edwards, yeah.
Yeah, I missed that whole graphic and then saw it on Twitter after. It's like, bro, why are they doing like the NBC like graphics for Sunday Night Football type thing? Anyway, next one, and this is probably my favorite one, honestly. They don't want that big bust.
I'll just leave it at that. I will leave that one at that. Again, another direct quote.
And final point on Anthony Edwards because we've basically run through it.
Yeah.
Couple things. One, like they didn't like the fit with LaMelo because they already had D'Angelo Russell, and I know it's not the same thing, but like they traded for Ricky Rubio right after. He's got 3 years left, and I know it's different. But
dude,
like
Ricky Rubio's also been in this league for a long damn time,
and he's also a big fan of the T-Wolves. T-Wolves fans love Ricky Rubio.
I feel like Ricky Rubio definitely strikes me as the type of guy that, like, if he's on your team, you're a big fan.
I love how Ricky Rubio went from
like,
I'll have her home by 10 to she calls me daddy too.
Yeah. It's a great start.
Yeah. God, we haven't even gotten past our first.
You haven't even told us what your interesting thoughts on Anthony Edwards are.
My interesting thoughts were Anthony Edwards, what if he doesn't want to play basketball, right? Like he said
that's very possible.
He said it to ESPN or that it at least came out in that article that it was like, like I really wanted to play football and things like that. Also, I don't know if you saw the clip. He's nice at rapping. He's good.
He's nice.
It was some good flow. It was good flow.
There was some good flow, but like I don't know. I mean, I would love to see him drop an album in the NBA. Some of Dame's stuff is pretty solid.
In my books, he checked all the boxes you need as a rapper. He mentioned Manu Ginobili.
I was like, what the
good? Yeah,
Manu Ginobili.
Pretty good.
Right.
We've kind of gone to the
last thing on Anthony Edwards. You are right. Like, if you didn't see his, I think it was an ESPN article, like the big ESPN draft profile on him. he basically said he didn't love the game of basketball, which is a pretty concerning red flag, in my opinion. I don't think that's a particularly hot take at all. You got to love the game. If you're going to be dedicated to it, like you need to be 100% committed to basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And that obviously it wasn't enough to get him not drafted first overall, but it's concerning, especially going to like Minnesota where there is, doesn't quite have the, I guess it could go both ways now that I'm saying it. Minnesota isn't necessarily a super fun place to live, I wouldn't think. No offense to Ethan. He's from Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Or lives in Minnesota currently. But by the same token, maybe that helps him just like lock in on basketball. I don't know.
I saw a pretty interesting article that like Minnesota low key is a powerhouse for basketball, like at the high school level.
I believe that.
Pretty crazy. We've talked through Wiseman a good amount already.
Yeah.
This was an easy pick to make right here. Like the Warriors have needed center help
in the middle for 3-4 years, but every year they're drafting 28th overall, and it's just like what random big man are the Warriors going to take this year?
Wow, you're telling me that Festus Ezeli and Kevon Looney haven't worked out for them?
First of all, Festus Ezeli got drafted in 2010.
Well, Festus Ezeli that was like the first iteration of the Warriors like dynasty.
I'm just dead you went to Festus Ezeli instead of like Eric Pascal
I love me some Festus. Well, Eric Pascal doesn't count. He was their center last year, and that's not like a dynasty year. I don't consider
I don't know why you brought up Festus Ezeli.
I love me some Festus.
Okay.
All right, let's move to 3. Boy, that was a whole setup in the ball house.
Yeah.
There was a lot to break down.
I thought you were gonna say there were a lot of people in the ball house.
I was listening to the ESPN Daily Pod today, and there was someone there from ESPN doing a story on LaMelo, and they said like everyone had to quarantine before, and everyone had to get tested and had their temperature taken. Everyone was wearing a mask. I love
everyone we saw on camera was wearing a mask.
LeVar just wearing a "I told you" hat.
I mean, you knew that was coming. You knew that was coming.
Lonzo and Jello hanging out in the back, like. I don't know. Say what you want about LeVar Ball. I don't love him, but he got 2 of his 3 sons drafted in the top 3, like
2nd and 3rd overall. That's pretty damn impressive.
That's wild.
The crazy thing is, my 2 sons are going to go 1st and 2nd overall in the NBA. And with these genes, are you kidding me? Come on. No, but let's talk about the actual guy who did go 3rd overall. I mean,
my kids are going to be so uncoordinated. It's not even a joke. Like,
yeah. Hopefully they don't clap on their jump shot like you do.
Still fucking clap on your dome on the jump shot.
Nice one. That was really good. Good stuff. Good stuff, Matias.
I'm pretty quick-witted.
Best point guard in the class.
Yeah.
Arguably the best player in the class. I think it was either him or Anthony Edwards.
Mm.
There's really not a whole lot to talk about here. I didn't think there was any shot LaMelo was getting past this pick. If either Charlotte's taking him or someone's trading up to 3rd to get him. Yeah. And the big question that jumped out to me, and I was doing, kind of like live reactions just on our rundown during the draft. My live thoughts. Is he ready to be a starting point guard day one? It's, initially you'd think, yeah, obviously, but then you remember the most competitive basketball he's played in the last 2 years was the New Zealand League. I was saying the Australia League, the entire show with Ethan, I realized. It was the New Zealand Basketball League. And that is not the most competitive league. I think he's going to be in for quite a shock when he gets into the Hornets' first workouts and is going against 12 other NBA players.
And that's nothing new for these guys either. Anthony Edwards just has.
But I think college to the NBA is less a big jump, but less of a jump than New Zealand to the NBA. Because in college, at least you're playing against other guys who are going to the league.
I don't know. I don't
want to debate it because it's not a point. There's nothing either of us can really say.
No.
My idea is that just more guys in college that are going to the league than there
I won't fight you.
New Zealand Basketball League.
I won't fight you on it. I promise it's only going to be one line on why I disagree. Just not skill wise, maybe. I think I agree with you skill wise, but body wise, he's playing against grown ass men. Like he's not playing against an 18-year-old from Western Michigan, Central Michigan. Like no disrespect, like. I'm not playing against the Vermont Mountaineers.
Anyway, hey, they made the dance 2 years in a row. Excuse you.
Sorry. The thing with LaMelo too, he's got to bulk up, and that's nothing new.
That's what I'm saying. Is he ready to be the starting point guard day one?
That's nothing new. But top 3 was chalk. We'll get to our losers later. A big loser was just Agent of Chaos. Like everyone thought there were going to be some wild trades. At 4, Patrick Williams. This was a huge jump. Bleacher Report
not even Bleacher Report.
No, Bleacher Report had reported it the day before, but Ethan had it in his mock draft.
That's what I'm saying. I was giving Ethan shit because I thought I hadn't seen anything remotely concrete that Patrick Williams even really being considered it for. Especially, I do the same thing with the NFL draft. 48 hours before the draft, anything I read, I'm assuming is a smokescreen. Mm-hmm. If not a smokescreen,
this was probably closer to like 60 to 72 hours before. It's a couple of days.
Point being, it was still a pretty big surprise that Patrick Williams went this high to the Chicago Bulls. I mean, he's your classic project pick. I think he's got a very well-rounded offensive game, given that he's one of the younger guys in the draft. But currently, he's really an offense and body type pick.
Mm-hmm. He's a fantastic rim protector too, and he has the potential to be a very good switch defender.
He's a good shot blocker. I don't know if I call him a good rim protector. Yeah, because we see that a lot with guys like Patrick Williams who are super athletic. They can block a lot of shots. Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot more to good rim protection than blocking shots. Obviously.
Yeah. Ask Hassan Whiteside.
I was gonna. Chasing blocks is not good defense.
Yes. Here's the thing with Patrick Williams, right? He only played 1 year, came off the bench. I mean, a month ago, people thought he was going to be the second guy out of Florida State to be drafted.
Yeah.
The thing with him, and especially at 4, the top 3 picks, I don't think there was much doubt who the top 3 players were in this draft, or at least who should go the top 3. The thing with this draft is there are definitely a lot of really good players available, but a lot of these teams are like, yo, fuck it. We got to take a home run swing.
A home run swing or not worry.
Patrick Williams is a safer home run swing. He's not an absolute shot in the dark. Yes. Compared to Okongwu or Okoro, these are guys that prove themselves more in college.
I would disagree with you there. I think I like Okoro and Okongwu more for the modern NBA personally. And the thing, especially with Chicago.
That's what I'm saying. Williams is more of a home run swing than that.
You just said he was a safer swing.
No, I'm not saying he's a safe. I'm saying he's a safe swing. I'm not saying he's a safer swing than there. I'm saying because Okoro and Okongwu produced more in college.
Maybe I misheard you.
I'm saying Okoro and Okongwu are safer picks.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. We're saying the same thing here.
This tends to happen.
I worry about him in Chicago is if he can't play the wing, that's a very crowded 4 or 5 mix they've got there between Wendell Carter and Lauri Markkanen, both who realistically deserve to be starting. And I don't know if Patrick Williams is capable of playing the 3 right now.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Not against the guys who's think about who he's going to be going up against every night. He's right now his defense leaves way too much to be desired to expect him to be out there defending some of the best wings in the league.
Yeah. I mean, he's 6'8", he's got a 7'1" wingspan, I think, which is ridiculous. But
what's Kevin Knox's wingspan? 7'2"? This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
I know. Yeah.
He's a project.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing too is it doesn't have to just be your height and your body type. You have to be quick to keep up on the outside.
Yeah.
Another Woj bomb. Suns are declining Frank Kaminsky's option.
Interesting. Whoa. And he's the type of player I think just one line on him. Stretch 5. I think any contender would like to have him on their bench. It's just price got to be right.
Good locker room presence, Frank Kaminsky.
I didn't say that. I said stretch 5.
Yeah.
Anyways, 5th pick to the Cavs, Isaac Okoro. This was, I think, other than the Patrick Williams pick, probably the second most surprising pick of the night to me.
Yeah. This is you can see, look at the roster and you see the fit is there. And it makes sense. But for someone who doesn't have an offensive skill set, doesn't shoot the ball.
He gets his jumper got his jumper disrespected in college.
Yeah, the jumper definitely can come around, and it probably will. But
probably will to what point?
Yeah.
That's the question you got to ask.
Well, I mean, you look at the players taken after him, the Cavs very easily could have gone with Denny. I thought they would have gone with Denny. The whole
that
noise.
Is exactly what I was thinking when this pick came up. I thought
I had Denny going 5.
Very playmaker, yeah.
I had Denny going 5, if not going 4 before all the noise came out about Patrick Williams. But Denny seemed like the pick here. This makes sense. You're on with making this pick. You are banking on the fact that it is crowded in the front court, center, power forward-ish, whenever you send those guys out, and Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson's a free agent, I think.
Yeah.
What,
you don't want to pay Tristan Thompson $22 million a year?
No. That's what I'm saying. You definitely don't. But as
shout out LeBron for getting Tristan Thompson $22 million a year.
Hey man, got them boys paid.
Gotta let the dogs eat, man.
Yeah, everyone eats. And you're relying on the fact that, or you're banking on the fact at least that your backcourt who you just drafted, two really young guys in Darius Garland and
Colin Sexton.
Yeah, I was like, wait, who the fuck? And Colin Sexton, two young guys who are, get their own buckets. They're not as much playmakers, although for Colin Sexton, that came along a little bit more towards the end of last season.
Playmakers, but not room to improve.
Yeah.
Lots of room to improve there.
You're banking. You still believe in them is what you're showing, because you could have taken, if you really wanted an upside swing, you would have taken Killian Hayes.
Kevin O'Connor's top prospect in the draft, which
you could have taken Okongwu. Well, let's also point out.
We'll talk about Killian Hayes when we get there.
We also have to point out that a big board is very different than a mock draft for a reason.
Yeah, it is.
Because Killian Hayes,
like I said, we'll talk about Killian Hayes when we get to him in 2 picks.
I was just explaining why it was different. If anyone was interested.
I'm trying to stay on topic here.
Anything else on Okoro? I mean,
I like the fit, but he's gonna have to figure out some offensive game. Like, he can't get his jump shot disrespected in the NBA. He'll have more space in the NBA. The offenses in the NBA are better, obviously, but a jumper needs a lot of work.
Can we talk about Bruce Pearl's interview real quick?
So weird.
Is he like a Walmart? Like,
he was 100% in the parking lot.
It's so funny. And like, who came on after? There's another coach came on. It wasn't Coach K.
Calipari?
Yeah.
I thought he came on later.
Yeah, well, no. Calipari came out a lot later, but you could, like, the lighting was perfect. He looked honestly like a supervillain in the movie. He was just sitting there, like, perfectly lighted, gel, like, perfectly slicked back, and then Bruce Pearl just has like a white beard, just in like a Walmart.
What's up, man? Yeah, Isaac Okoro was great. He couldn't even speak. It was funny.
Oh, weird.
6th overall, the Atlanta Hawks take Onyeka Okongwu. Hope I got that one right.
Okongwu, yeah.
Mr. Bust Proof, according to Ethan, if there's one place he's gonna bust, it's gonna be in Atlanta, because this front court.
Oh, really? Where's he gonna bust?
Their center rotation. You need to get your goddamn head out of the gutter, Matias. Jesus Christ.
Hey, man, I'm the one that talked about the pipe on Tuesday or Monday, and you just absolutely just stared at me. You were like,
yeah, and I started cracking up for what it's worth. But are the Hawks going to move Clint Capella without him playing a single minute in a Hawks uniform?
No, because the problem here.
So would you run in Okongwu, John Collins, and Clint all on the court at the same time?
Well, that's kind of the problem.
No, you're not.
Look, it goes one of two directions, right? Because this is a Hawks team that doesn't need that much more help on offense. They're not there yet. They're not an elite offense, but they're
pretty good.
Yeah, okay.
They're pretty good.
Okay, what I meant by that was, like, the Wizards are a very good offense. When they get into the playoffs, can they be that same level type thing? That's
all right, but we're not even talking about. We're not talking about the Hawks in the playoffs yet.
For the Hawks, this was a team that really needed defensive help, and they got probably him and Okoro were the two best defenders in this draft.
Yeah.
I love Okongwu, but John
Collins has more. How are they going to get him on the floor?
Yeah. John Collins has more trade value, definitely, than Clint Capella.
But I think John Collins is also the much better player, and the player you would probably want. And I think ideally, if you're Atlanta, again, this is not easy. You trade Clint Capella, and you run probably Collins at the 4, Okongwu on the 5. At the 5, 4 and 5, air quotes there, because how positional is it really? But you need. I love John Collins as just an athletic rim runner type of guy. Okongwu serves as that defensive anchor, but also a secondary playmaker, a Bam Adebayo type of player. Clint Capella doesn't fit there. Clint Capella doesn't fit in the modern day NBA.
Yeah, I honestly still think so.
It's not easy to make that trade, though. I don't know what.
As much as I hate it, it's probably more likely, or you get the most bang for your buck, that you trade away Collins. Which I don't like.
I don't think Clint and Okongwu work well either.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. That doesn't work either. So it's almost like this is a very good player, and it would work, but you're just like, what do you? I don't know what they're gonna do, and they might prove us wrong. They'll probably figure something out. And Okongwu at 6 is great.
It's clearly a take the best player on your board and figure out the fit later type of move.
It's a BPA pick.
Exactly.
Best player. Number 7, Pistons take Killian Hayes. I think he's fantastic. This is a Pistons team that is. I think he's going to be really good, dude.
Really?
I think he's going to be really good. I haven't been triggered. I haven't been hurt by French point guards. Actually, quite the opposite. Yeah, quite the opposite for me, actually.
Yeah. You love the French point guard who's like maybe not super athletic, but has got a great feel for the game.
Well, I mean, Killian Hayes is.
Was Tony a lefty too?
Yes.
I thought Killian's thing was that he wasn't stupid athletic.
He doesn't have explosiveness, but he's athletic.
And that's what I mean. He's not like jump out the gym, blow past you type of guard.
The Pistons are going super young. We got that Woj alert that they were trying to rebuild their young assets, which was like, when the hell did they ever have the young assets?
And Christian Woods looks like an animal.
Yeah. Other than
Wood or Woods?
Wood. Christian Wood. Yeah. He's going to be a Nick too. I think you guys are going to throw the bag at him.
Why? So we can get another goddamn power forward?
Well, I mean, you just declined for Bobby Portis and Taj Gibson.
So we're going to sign another power forward after we just drafted Obi Toppin?
Absolutely.
And you're probably right.
But Wood can play 5. Wood can play the 5.
We have Mitchell Robinson. Should. Christian Wood makes no sense.
Oh, yeah. I forgot
exactly why they're going to sign him.
I forgot you had Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
For Killian, I mean, this is a Pistons team that they're not going to contend next year. They still got a couple of years. They took 3 players in the top 20. Like, I love this pick. This is the best.
They might as well take the Killian Hayes swing here because they've got 2 other picks in the top 20. Yeah. And you can afford to take these chances when you just have so many freaking draft picks like the Pistons do.
Yeah.
Are the Pistons going to be relevant? Probably not.
No.
How many Pistons games do you think how many Pistons games do you think you'll watch?
I think I'll honestly watch a decent amount just because I really want to see what Killian Hayes looks like.
I guess the important question is, where do you think the Pistons check in on the league pass rankings? Give me like a range. Give me a range.
Bottom 10.
Yeah. That's kind of what I would guess.
Bottom 10, but I mean I'm a basketball nut. Like I'll watch anything, dude. I'll watch a fucking Hornets Nets game last year.
Watch a Hornets Knicks game this year. Tell me how that goes for you.
At least you guys have Obi Toppin, you know.
Speaking of Obi Toppin, the newest New York Knick. I mean, first of all,
take the lead here.
The press conference was awesome. Like
his interview?
His interview was so cool. Like,
yeah.
Excitement as a Knicks fan is something I have not felt in a while. Seeing a guy like literally break down in tears because he's so happy to be selected by the New York Knicks, his hometown team, is awesome as a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stay with the positive for now. Obi Toppin's a good player. He is.
He's the best player in college.
Was the best player in college basketball. I know that's not in any means like a direct indicator of how good a guy's going to be in the NBA.
It's got to be worth something.
It's worth something, and what I think is worth even more is that he made himself into this player. He was not like a D1 guy who couldn't, who had academic issues and couldn't play at one of these blue blood schools, so that probably wouldn't have stopped any of them from taking him anyways. Mm-hmm. He didn't get I think he got like a few D1 looks, but never got any formal offer.
Yeah, he was going to go to he was going to go to like a JUCO. And then I think his like uncle or something was like, "Bro, no, like give me like a week with this guy."
Yeah. Didn't play his freshman year at Dayton.
Mm-hmm.
Just improvement. The athleticism is there. He's a surefire scorer. I mean, there was one, I think it was Coach Nick, B-Ball Breakdown, did a Twitter thread on him, I don't know, 3 weeks ago at this point. And he was talking about like how to properly judge athleticism when you're talking about guys who are playing, maybe not in the ACC, the Big Ten, like in the top tier college basketball conferences. Mm-hmm. Obi Toppin was the most athletic guy on the floor in every single game for Dayton. And he looked like it. He looked the part of a guy who is just like at a different level, at an NBA level athletically. And that doesn't scare me with him. I think best case scenario, he comes in and he's one of the more NBA ready prospects we had in the draft this year.
Well, that's the big thing too with the Knicks is that you cannot come out this year and expect to contend. But let's be real. It's New York. As much as
I'm not saying you should expect to contend. No. I'm saying the Knicks should, for once, didn't draft the – okay.
Let me finish. It's like, you're not going to contend this year, and you need to be patient. But you're just gonna be less patient in New York than you are in Charlotte, and I think that's fine. And Obi is he the most NBA ready player taken so far? Very possible.
Yeah,
he's 22 years old. I mean,
and it's
22 years old and has a lot of experience and is a high basketball IQ.
I'm not saying I'm not saying necessarily the most NBA ready player, but I think from the Knicks' perspective, and we'll talk about this with the Emmanuel Quickly pick as well, the Knicks need to start like putting guys on the floor that can make meaningful contributions to winning basketball games
and actually play them
and actually play in them. And how many of the Knicks last?
Remember Dotson? Remember you guys drafted Dotson and then and he was nice.
Qualifying offer.
Yeah, he was nice, and then the next year actually fuck that.
But it's like Obi Toppin looks like a guy who can actually contribute to winning some basketball games. And obviously the Knicks aren't going to be in any position to like win meaningful games. Mm-hmm. But at a certain point, you have to start moving out of that, straight player development phase, especially, fair or not, if the Knicks think they're going to try to make a run at Giannis next year. You have to look. I'm not saying they should. I'm saying it's possible that the Knicks think they might be able to make a run at Giannis. And if that's the case, you got to start putting together guys who are not straight projects.
Yep. And
Obi Toppin's not so much of a project compared to other guys in this class.
Couple of points on Obi before we get to like the big conversation that we need to. The question with him is defense. Can he figure it out defensively, and can they find a good position for him to play? Because he's, very small ball 5. He's a 4.
He's a 4. I think, especially with a guy like Mitchell Robinson, and the Knicks need a big jump out of Mitchell. The Knicks need Mitchell Robinson to be like an NBA starter
to start panning out.
He is panning out. You look at the way he's improved the last 2 seasons. Like the leaps are evident to like the casual fan, much less to people who really know basketball.
You need to see from this year signs that like he can be a multi-time All-Star if he's going to work out.
I think what I'm trying to say here is like the Knicks need Mitchell Robinson to make the jump from like really, really good borderline starter to like actual starting caliber NBA center. I'm not saying he has to be an all-star this year. But
someone you're confident starting every night is going to give you more than 20 minutes. Yeah, that's the big thing. He's got to be able to stay on the floor.
And his defensive ability is there. It's not even a question about his defensive potential anymore. But that's why I do kind of like the fit there, because then you run Mitch at the 5. He's covering for goddamn the entire team defensively because he's got 12-foot-long arms. And then you let Obi be that, I think the Amari Stoudemire comparison makes a ton of sense. And Obi's a better jump shooter than Amari ever was. Obi shot 39% from deep last year.
Yeah, he's got a nice
I don't know where I missed that. Not missed it, but it got lost in the shuffle of everything I was reading, I guess.
He's got the Jimmy.
He's got a good jumper. Only 3 attempts, a little under 3 attempts a game.
Yeah.
I don't hate the pick. I wanted Tyrese Haliburton.
We both were like, bro, like Knicks need a point guard. They need someone that can create offense with RJ Barrett, someone to alleviate the pressure. Tyrese is perfect. He probably shouldn't have dropped this far, or this is where he should be going. Yeah. Great off ball, good defensively, good team defender too, smart, safe pick.
Yeah, I'll leave now. Yeah. I'll spoil for you guys. The Knicks are one of my losers of the draft.
Yeah.
Come on. Just pick a fucking playmaker, please.
I think this would have been great with our.
The last good point guard the Knicks had was literally Raymond Felton. Like, I was reading an article today on SB Nation. They were like, running back. Hey, look, I love Pablo Prigioni. I love that man to death.
Watch your mouth, man.
He didn't play more than 9 minutes a game for us. Like, he can't be our best goddamn point guard. Like, I'll see if I can find the article for you and send it your way.
Thanks, man.
You look at the actual numbers, like PER, efficiency, that type of stuff, and it's a low bar. Let me tell you, 2012, 2013 Raymond Felton was the best point guard the Knicks have had in the last 20 years.
No,
before that it was Stephon Marbury.
Let's spend a couple minutes because we want to tear through this lottery and get to a couple of the picks. Is Obi Toppin the best nickname you saw? I saw Toppin Z Bridge was hilarious. That fucking knocked me out of commission for a little bit. Toppin
Z Bridge is really good. I mean, Obi Toppin's not like O.B. Toppin. It's not even a nickname. That's not anything I've seen people call him. It's just what Josh and I have been calling him, in all honesty.
I saw Desus and Mero put one of them put, you guys have no idea how many times we're going to mention the double Toppin, which was fucking hilarious.
Like a Knicks jersey with Toppin on the
just
back.
Two-time Toppin. Man, Toppin is popping. Like, just thinking about
Toppin,
things that
not stopping,
that Clyde.
bro.
Yeah, no stopping.
Hey, I told you,
Toppin.
more to luck. Obi Toppin can't be stopping, or something like that. It's gonna be the Clyde phrase.
I need like a list of what Clyde. Someone needs to keep track on Twitter of everything that Clyde Frazier is going to be calling him.
I'm pretty sure there is an account that does that.
The
Clyde
actually
or
sure
something.
Let's go to 9.
On. Yep.
Yeah.
Denny.
Fuck, man.
You thought it was gonna happen.
I did.
And the Spurs gonna get Denny.
I wasn't the only one, believe me. My entire timeline was just Spurs fan going, "Oh, we can't say anything." And like in our the Slack page for the Air Alamo, the writers, we were all like, "Bro, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen." And like we're saying, the Spurs might trade up a little bit. Again, at this point, we hadn't had any trades. We were like, Spurs are going to trade up 2 spots and like send away like Patty Mills or some shit, or like an expiring
classic pop move. Like,
oh man, God, I really fucking wanted Denny. There was no reason Denny should have still been on the board at 9.
Like you say, there's no reason, but like we also got to remember that we knew once we got outside the top 3 that anything.
I know, but like
like we'll get into that with some of these later picks too. That might be kind of, at least some of them are kind of confusing to me. But by the same token, there was the consensus on this draft was that no one really knew.
Yeah.
No one knew like how to tier the players out. Like there was no consensus on like who fit where. It was more a matter of front offices look at the board and they say, who's our guy? Let's go get our guy.
I say just because like Bulls at 4 had interest and it fits. Cavs at 5 had interest and it fits. Hell, even the Hawks at 6 had interest and it fits. Pistons, best player available.
I thought he could have gotten to the Hawks at 6. That's kind of where I expected.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go 5 or 6. But he ends up going 9 to the Wizards. I think they get an absolute steal here. Like this is.
We talked about it with Ethan. His jump shot scares me because it's been an issue for so long. Yes, he's young. Obviously, guys can improve when they get in an NBA workout program, NBA shooting coaches. But because the scary thing is like if he doesn't have a jumper, you can throw all his fun playmaking out the window. If he's got no space, if he's got no threat of a jump shot, he's going to be driving into the teeth of a defense every time. He's not going to be able to leverage that jumper to create these lanes, to create scrambles on the defensive end.
You could turn into a Ben Simmons with not as good defense, although he has
But Ben Simmons is a freak athlete.
Yeah.
Denny is not that type of athlete at all.
Yeah, well, that's a big difference. I just do.
That's part of why he scares me because it is all
elite playmaking
on that jumper.
Elite playmaking, high IQ. As a point forward, gives you a pretty solid floor.
Gives you a solid floor, but also like, are you drafting a, really good like backup, secondary playmaker at 9th overall, or do you want to draft a guy who's going to be leading your team?
But I think he gets his shooting to NBA like mediocre levels. Like he has a chance to be a top 3 player.
He's got to start shooting better than 57% from the charity stripe.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
That's like Hack-a-Shaq levels.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's
not quite Hack-a-Shaq levels, but you know what I'm saying. That's not good by any means. Yeah. I hope I'm wrong on Denny. I really like his game. Like watching all the tape on him, I've seen like the upside is very obviously there.
Mm-hmm. I loved him saying he learned English through Call of Duty, iCarly, and Drake and Josh, I think.
I saw one thing on Twitter today. It was like, Denny's going to drain a 3 in someone's face and just start screaming racial slurs.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't want to know
if you learn English from the Call of Duty lobby, you are
Jesus Christ.
I wonder what the first English word he learned was.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
Not allowed to say it for sure.
I don't even. Yeah, no, we're not getting into that.
At 10, the Suns with Jalen Smith. That was a big. You want to talk about a home run hack? Like just traded for Chris Paul. I wouldn't have hated them trading out of here, but I think Jalen Smith can be a good fit next to Ayton, and that's what they needed.
This was, I think, the highest I saw him. I don't think I saw him get drafted anywhere near here in any mocks I saw.
I will also say I thought they would. I thought they were going to take Devin Vassell because they need defense on the wing. They just send away Oubre. Like I thought that was the fit for them, but they must really like Jalen Smith.
They must really like Jalen Smith, but does that also look bad on DeAndre Ayton?
No, because
they can't put DeAndre Ayton anywhere else other than the 5.
No,
you just drafted DeAndre Ayton first overall.
I don't. There's no indication on Ayton. Ayton's stock is fucking.
Ayton's stock is fine, but like, what happens?
Shooting up.
Where are you playing Jalen Smith at the 4? He's not. I don't know if I'd be comfortable playing him at the 4. At this point, with what we know currently, what we know right now, definitely seems like more of a modern 5 to me than a 4.
Yeah, but I mean,
like you said at the top of the show, it's about big home run swings.
They must think that there's some flexibility to go for 4, which it's shown glimpses of. But yeah, 11 Spurs taking Devin Vassell.
Take it away.
God, I fucking love this pick. I think it's fantastic.
Must be nice, man. Must be so nice to watch a team take a guy and you're like, yes.
And this was interesting because Haliburton by far was still the best player available. And the Spurs were going to go best player available probably. But the problem is that the Spurs have a very crowded backcourt with Derek White, with DeJounte Murray, with Lonnie Walker, with Keldon Johnson, though Walker and Johnson more shade into the shooting guard small forward, and then you have
Tyrese Haliburton is kind of that like combo guard small wing.
Yes,
6'5",
but he is
like a 7 foot. I'm not saying
he's not going to play forward. But he's not going to play forward.
He's not playing forward, but you could run like a DeJounte, Lonnie, Tyrese lineup, I think, pretty easily.
Yeah, but that's a small lineup. And how many minutes are you going to? Yeah, how many minutes?
That's probably why you didn't draft him.
Vassell lights out from beyond the arc. Shot 40% 3 straight years. I have no doubt they're going to fix up that jump shot. Although he didn't say he's going to change his jump shot. It was literally one video. I'm not worried. This is the best.
They'll get in there. They'll smooth it out, work on the efficiency of it.
This is
all
the
that
best
good stuff the Spurs like to do.
This is the best 3-and-D player in the draft. It's exactly what the Spurs needed. They took like the second best player available, but he bumps him above Haliburton because of fit. I love the pick. I think it's fantastic. He's 6'8", still growing. He can play forward.
It's my guy. Who's fucking surprised the Spurs nailed their pick? No one's surprised.
12. I don't think we saw a pick coming quicker.
No.
It's literally like Spurs pick.
Other than honestly, I thought, or not the Wizards. I thought the Suns were going to snag Tyrese, honestly, for a hot second. But
I think you were overrating Tyrese playing at 3. He's not a 3.
Not at a 3, but it's like whatever. My son's theory was that you play Devin more at the 3, and then you get real weird with it.
Oh,
anyways, that's not what happened.
Thank God you're not drafted. Jesus.
There's a reason I'm not an NBA GM.
Fair enough.
I love the Tyrese fit with the Kings.
This was a no-brainer. I think he works great with De'Aaron Fox. Buddy Hield's going to be gone soon. He doesn't want to be there. They're going to trade him away. He's fantastic off the ball too. Him and Fox, that's just going to be a fun backcourt.
Yeah.
And there's no reason, again, that Haliburton should have been there at 12. But he was.
Next pick, Kira Lewis goes to the New Orleans Pelicans.
That's going to be a fucking fun transition.
Dude, Kira and Zion together. Oh, my God.
Oh, man. They're going to have to figure out that half-court offense in the backcourt.
Half-court offense, and how do you manage him and Lonzo together? Because I don't love either of them off the ball. I think my best guess is
Lonzo as
the starter, and
Lonzo
Kira
can be a good
energy off the at least to start off the bench. Like you run him when you're.
Don't forget they got Eric Bledsoe there too.
That's what I'm saying. You have Bledsoe off the ball. You run. I'm saying Lonzo at the 1, Bledsoe at the 2, and then Kira is your spark off the bench guy. Because you don't need to make it. There's no reason to make him your lead guard right now.
No, Kira is definitely not your lead guard.
That's what I'm saying.
He's an explosive 6-man.
I think that's a perfect position for him. Where the Pelicans, I think rightfully so, have designs on like competing for a top 5 seed in the West this season. You let Kira be that guy who comes off the bench. Yeah, you only play him 17, 18 minutes a night maybe. I mean, Kira, again, is one of these project guys who we don't quite know how he's going to handle, an NBA half-court defense.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just putting him on the floor and saying, go run your ass off till you can't run anymore, then come grab a drink. Like, I think that's a really good fit for him.
Yeah. We're just going to go through a couple of Thunder.
Shams.
Thunder are in serious talks to send Oubre to the Warriors. I like that. They need wing/forward help.
Yeah. Oubre and Wiggins together is an interesting fit, but.
Yeah, but I like Oubre's defense and his energy. And you're probably not moving Wiggins unless.
No, you're not. I'm saying they're like.
Well, I mean, look, the Thunder have a hell of a lot of space there if anyone's gonna trade for fucking draft picks, it's the Thunder.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the Warriors are trying
What
to
picks do
package
the
a lot.
Warriors have though?
I don't know. I'd have to hop in the
Yeah,
troubleshoot.
I don't know.
But if you try to package some of that with Wiggins, we'll stay on the picks though, because we got a couple more to get to in this first round. Then we want to get to some trades and winners and losers. Celtics taking Nesmith.
Best shooter in the draft. Celtics
Probably, yeah.
Literally take whoever they want in this spot. They're in no position. They don't need a starter. They barely even need like a bench contributor.
Yeah.
Take whoever you want. Take the best shooter available. Sure. Fine by me.
Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah.
I'll talk about the Celtics a little bit. I had them as a loser, which is unfair to them. But Cole Anthony to the Magic for 15. I love seeing Spike Lee there. You want to talk about someone who, like, he was supposed to be like a top 5 pick, and then he got hurt and kind of dropped his stock in UNC. And
well, that's why I love his pick. That's why I love his selection so much. The Magic
he was breaking down.
The Mavs need someone to handle the ball. I'm
talking about the Mags.
Yeah,
the Mavs.
The Magic need a ball handler.
Yeah,
and Cole Anthony at 15. That's just value. This is a guy
they need a pure
I think rightfully so was being talked about as a top 5 pick preseason.
Yeah, I love like the emotion for a lot of these guys just breaking down. Like Cole Anthony was like, "This is one of the hardest years of my life." Like, yeah, I went through the fucking ringer type thing.
Yeah.
I want to talk. You didn't bold him. I just want to say one word on Poku.
Okay.
Going to OKC at 17. Everyone had like a whole setup at home. They had their friends and family and everything like that. And then you go to Poku, who played in Serbia. He's at his house in Greece, and it's just like, I hope this isn't disrespectful. The most like Eastern European type thing, just like half circle and a table, everyone in a suit, just sitting there. And like he got picked, and everyone was super happy, hugging each other, kissing each other. But it was hilarious how it's just like a gray background, like there's a little bit of decoration. Everyone there was just like,
okay. You wrote you love the Josh Green to the Mavs pick. What? That didn't strike me as like a home run pick. What did you like?
No, it doesn't. And that's the thing with the Mavs. With the Nets that were going to pick at 19, they ended up not keeping that pick. Those were two teams that their offense is set. They need guys that can shoot, that know their role, and that can defend at the wing. That's exactly what Josh Green is. He was one of the Gordon Hayward has opted out of his. Wow. He'll become a free agent. I would assume that he has some sort of deal already in place with the Celtics. There's no way.
Total conspiracy theory off the dome here.
Sign and trade
with
Warriors.
No.
Knicks.
No. Milwaukee.
I don't think Milwaukee.
Especially because the Bogdan deal fell apart.
Yeah, but I think Bogdan still wants to play there. Bogdan still wants to play there, he said.
Trade fell apart for a reason.
Yeah, because apparently the Kings didn't fucking check. Like
the trade fell apart for a reason. Like,
well, they might just be able to get more money. He might just want more money.
If they can get Hayward for less, I like Gordon Hayward. I mean, again, this is like
Bogdan.
Just spitting right here. But if you can get him for less, maybe. I don't know.
I honestly think that Gordon Hayward stays if he turned down $35 fucking million. Bro, like
maybe he wants a bigger role somewhere. I don't know.
That is possible. No,
maybe he believes that he can get a bigger, take less money, but get
No, you're right.
More primary role. I mean, realistically, what is he in Boston? The third option?
Fourth.
Third, fourth. Yeah, exactly.
Just wrapping
not
up
even
on
third, fourth. It's literally Tatum, Kemba, Marcus Smart now. Like,
Jaylen Brown.
And then Jaylen Brown. He might even be the 5.
It's probably 5. Just wrapping up on Josh Green, like best wing defender still available there. Good 3-point shooter, knows his role, and high character. I love it to the Mavs. And then the next one, we'll start getting into our trades here because we have a couple to go through. It was the Nets picking them, but then going to the Pistons with Sadiq Bey. Sadiq the Freak. I'm ready to hop on that bandwagon too. I really like Sadiq. Nice. At some points, it was being said that he might go 11 to the Spurs, which was way too high, I thought. But like he's a good 3-and-D player. He's shown promise with creating some offense off the dribble. This kind of releases his shot.
But I mean, you're not really drafting him for you don't need him necessarily to be that like playmaker. You want him to stand there, play quality defense, not going to open shots. I mean, that's kind of what his profile was at Villanova. I think sometimes he got a little bit overworked at Villanova just because they needed him. You know, we see this a lot. It's the same conversation we had about Anthony Edwards. Was, you know, there were some questions about his efficiency because in college these guys were asked to do a lot more than maybe they were ready to do at that point. But you put them on an NBA team and NBA offense where their role is reduced, but they're, you know, put in better overall positions. And that's where you start seeing guys, you know, actually play better in the NBA than they did in college.
A couple, this is where the 3-team trade came in that we were kind of referencing. The Clippers got a fantastic shooter in Luke Kennard, and he's young, and they got Jay Scrub. So funny. Brooklyn got a very good off-ball shooter too in Landry Shamet, also young, and Reggie Perry with the 57th pick. And then Detroit got to move up to 19, which is big for them. And they got Rodney Magruder, who's cheap too.
Magruder the shooter.
Yeah, Magruder the shooter. Look for Detroit. Like
that just made that up, but
it kind of works though.
Detroit's got nothing to lose. Like fuck it, go for it. Make the trades. Be that. But that guy and
gave up on Kennard, and I don't know. Kind of replacing them right there with.
I think it's the type of thing that where, you know, I don't know what these various reasons would be, but if Detroit, yes, I would assume Detroit didn't take the initiative on this deal. I imagine they probably got approached for it, and it's a type, you know, if someone approaches you with a trade and it works, like you don't just say no because you don't want to make the trade. Like, I have no real issue with it. If you're Detroit, you're like. We talked about this earlier. They had three picks in the top 20. Like they can kind of do whatever they want here.
Kennard is still young though. That's the thing. He's going into his 3rd year. There's a big market for him.
Avery Bradley just declined.
Avery Bradley declining that's big for the Lakers too, although they didn't really need him. There's a big market for Kennard. A lot of teams liked him, and he's still very young. I don't know. It felt like this was a trade because they really liked Bey, which I don't blame them.
Well, I think if you look at Sadiq as like a bigger, more versatile Luke Kennard.
Kennard has a much better shot than Bey does.
Bey's got the numbers though. I mean, you got to fix his shot, but he had the numbers there.
Kennard is a much better shooter.
He's also an NBA player. He's also been in the NBA for 3 years now.
No, yeah.
I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's very
Oh wow, we're scorching take on it.
There's some trades in the NBA that I just don't have a screaming hot take about. I'm like, okay, yeah.
How the hell do you have a show then?
3 mid-tier guys getting traded for each other. Like,
let's we got to go in about 30 minutes, so let's run through some trades real quick so we can get to the NFL. First, this one we can rip through real quick. Minnesota gets Rubio, the 25th pick, and the 28th pick, which was Jaden McDaniels. OKC gets Pokusevski. I like it for both. There's no reason for OKC to keep Rubio. They get there. That's a home run swing. You want to talk about Pokusevski? They don't need him anytime soon.
Well, yeah, with their 43 first-round picks over the next 4 years.
18?
Again,
officially?
Well, less now.
Yeah.
They had 18 future firsts going into last night's draft. That is
ridiculous.
Bonkers.
Ridiculous.
Go ahead, take the shot on the freak guy that's going to stay in Europe for the next 3 years. Why not? Same thing I was thinking about Detroit.
Yeah.
Take a shot. Why not? You literally have nothing to lose.
Yes, but I think Detroit, it was I guess the trade just went through. The Warriors will absorb Oubre and his $14 million, and then it kind of went off. Couple trades for Philly. They get Seth Curry.
I don't know what to make about these, man.
I like it.
I don't know if I love them because it indicates to me that they're still trying to make the Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid thing work. Yeah. And if you've listened to the show at all in the last month, you know where I stand on that partnership. And it's I don't think they're capable of being. I don't think they're capable of being teammates on an NBA championship team. Mm-hmm. I think individually they both could very possibly be capable of being best player on a title team. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think they can work together.
I told you Morey was going to try it out.
Why?
Because he's Daryl fucking Morey. That's why.
We've seen them play together for 4 years now. Every year it's the same questions. It's the same issues.
You're right. But you know what else happened? You know what else happened, Ben? They were one crazy Kawhi Leonard shot away from going to the finals. They
We
were
said the same thing
that
about
close.
Houston. They were 1-0-for-27 stretch away from making the finals. Guess
You're
what?
right, and that was worth. You're right.
That shit happens sometimes.
Yeah, bad shit happens, but that's enough to fuck it.
The
Try
Warriors
again.
were a KD and Klay injury away from winning another chip. Like,
I think injuries are different.
Point being, shit happens.
But yes, it's enough to run it back at least.
It was enough to run it back last year, and then what happened last year?
Well, last year
did the Sixers win a chip last year?
Well, you know what happened? They fucking traded
for the same issues they've had the same fucking 4 years.
The problem their problem
That's
wasn't
what I keep going
that,
back to. It's like insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Their problem was very simple. They chose Al Horford and Tobias Harris or Jimmy Butler. That was their problem. That was a problem.
I don't think the Sixers should be trying to make Simmons and Embiid work.
Anyway, it does show that they're still trying to make it work. They get Seth Curry, who is a fantastic shooter. Josh Richardson's fantastic. I love him next to Luka Doncic too. This could be a win-win.
That's fun. And also clearing the Horford Danny Green like contract dump trade. I do like getting Horford's contract off the books a lot for Philly.
Well, the thing with Philly is that they gave up a lot, but they ended up dumping those salaries and they got better. Probably. Like Terrence Ferguson is not costing them anything, and that is at least a long wing you can use. Danny Green, who they just shipped out. They get their shooter in Seth Curry, and they give up draft picks. But again,
and a second for Danny Green is a lot.
Well, no,
it
was a first and second to get rid of Horford. It was a first.
Get rid of Horford. It's part of the deal. You give him a first and second.
Well, you traded away Danny Green at that point too, so it's like you don't care.
Fair.
Yeah, it was literally just first and second to get rid of Horford. I think Morey comes in, he just immediately gets rid of him. That was the biggest problem on this roster, besides the fact that you have two guys that probably can't coexist. Well,
the question for Philly now is Meek Mill going to bring James Harden?
Yeah, facts.
Is Meek Mill going to bring James Harden to the Philadelphia 76ers? I don't think it's impossible.
It's not impossible. I also don't.
I don't know if I'd say it's likely.
I don't think Harden gets traded, honestly.
I think he does.
Before the season starts? During the season?
Yes. I think Harden's gone. No. Well, all right. Do you think Russ is gone?
I mean, Russ is easier to trade.
I would argue Harden's tougher to trade for, but you're going to be getting a haul back for him. There's no doubt what James Harden is worth on the market. There's a lot of uncertainty about what Russ is worth in a trade.
But you look at what Drew Holiday just got traded for. The Rockets are like, bro, you better trade us like 9 picks.
Yeah, no. If someone's going to get James Harden like the Nets, it's going to be a haul.
That's why I just think it's easier to trade for Westbrook, which I don't know why the hell you would want to, but it's a different.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think Harden ends up in Brooklyn. I really do.
Just to close out on that Danny Green thing, like I like the picks. I mean, I like the trades. I like getting rid of him. I think Morey did a good job.
I think Morey's got to trade one of these Simmons or Embiid before the season starts.
We shall see.
Make a splash. I wouldn't put it past them.
I think it's just a lot harder a lot of these times after you make the pick. I mean, the pick is devalued as soon as they take a player.
Not necessarily.
But like if
you can't even say that though. It depends who they're trading with. What if they're trading with some dude some team that was dying for Tyrese Maxey?
Mm-hmm. Yes, but
it depends. Like it depends.
It just makes it harder
because on a million different things.
Yeah, I think it just makes it harder because if you have a whole thing set with the team that picked at 13, whoever it was, and Maxey went 14, and you love Maxey, you're like, fuck. You would have traded that 13 before. You would have gotten it done before just so you could take Maxey.
Guess what? I shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go through some winners and losers real quick so we can talk about the NFL for like 20 minutes.
Yep.
We'll run through. You got a birthday.
I can stay on until like 5:45.
Oh, okay. Fuck yeah.
I sent the Zoom. It's my grandma's birthday today, guys.
Hey, happy birthday.
92nd birthday. So we got a big family Zoom call to get on at 6.
Damn.
Sick, dude. All right. I'll start if that's cool with you.
All right. it would be
My
my honor.
my two big winners. I talked about this early. The Minnesota Timberwolves. I think they got clearly the best player in the draft, or at least the best match of fit and talent in the draft. I think Anthony Edwards just lands in such a great situation to play to his strengths and not be asked to take on an outsized role the way he was at Georgia. And I think that's great for his development. He's not going to the pressure isn't going to be on Anthony Edwards, and the pressure really isn't going to be on Minnesota. If Minnesota's competing for a playoff spot, that's a wildly successful season, especially in the West. If they're not even competing, if they're like in the conversation, that's a wildly successful season for them.
I think for Minnesota, if they can figure out what direction they're going in, it's a wildly successful season.
I think they know what direction they're going in.
Okay, they know what direction, but if they can...
What direction are they going in other than running with D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, and Cat?
If they can 100% say, we are going to make a run for things with D'Lo and Cat and Edwards. Like
Anthony
that.
Edwards? Like,
yeah. No, that's a successful... Well, I'm saying because...
Like, what else would they do? Trade one of these guys halfway through the season?
No, because you haven't tried with D'Lo and Cat. And Cat is, going into his 5th season. Like, if they don't show promise that this is going to work with now adding a number 1 overall pick, then you start thinking, like, shit, do we trade? That's what I'm saying.
Well, but that's like a cop-out answer. It's like, oh, well, it's good if they're good, and it's bad if they're bad. Like...
Okay, yes.
Yeah, it's good if they're good. I invested $10 million in the stock market yesterday. If I make $50 million, it's gonna be really good for me.
Like, no, that's like saying you've had $10 million in the stock market for 3-4 years, and this is the year where you're like, okay, if it works out, I'm keeping it in. If it doesn't work, I'm taking out.
By all intents and purposes, the D'Lo Cat fit should be money. Let's be honest.
Yes, it should, but you have questions defensively.
You have questions defensively, but
all I'm saying is if all 3 of them stay healthy this season and it doesn't work, we're going to be looking at that team and being like, who are they? Like, are they just giving up on this type of thing? They have a new front office.
I don't see that as a likely scenario at all.
Okay, but like you at least have to start having the conversation, maybe, Like,
I feel like that's just all banking on like what if it all goes wrong, and then if it all goes wrong, if they're back picking 1st overall next year, then obviously they've got issues, but. I think clearly their trio right now is D'Lo, Cat, and Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man.
Yeah, the Ant-Man. Jesus.
My other winner here is the Kings. Even with Buddy Hield on the team, I do like the De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Halliburton combo. Even if Halliburton's coming off the bench to start or serving as like you can get creative with staggering the 3 of those guys. So you keep 2 of them on the floor at all times. Then you run De'Aaron Fox and Halliburton. You've kind of got 2 real playmakers on the floor. You run Halliburton and Buddy Hield. You've got obviously Buddy Hield is one of the best shooters in the NBA already. As we talked about, Buddy Hield is probably gone. I don't really know what his value is right now. Honestly, I think it's probably good. It's good, but like because he doesn't want to be there, his value is a little bit more up in the air.
And also, he didn't have a good season.
I think even if Buddy Hield ends up staying, that's a really fun trio of guards to have. And maybe if you end up having to move one, you have to move one. But again, it's like draft a really talented player and figure out the fit afterwards.
Value-wise, Halliburton probably was the best in the lottery. But I can't put him as a winner yet because it's fucking Sacramento. Like,
well, then you can't put anyone as a goddamn winner. It's the NBA draft. Hey, we're not doing draft grades at least.
No, I know. It's just because like you don't pick up Harry Giles as player option, a team option. Like,
we're talking about the draft though.
I'm not
talking about a whole offseason.
I can't put in the same sentence winner and Sacramento. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Like they just I can't do it,
man. Who are your winners?
I put the Pistons just because
I can't put Pistons and winner in the same sentence. They're so bad.
Very fair.
That's what you're doing to me. Like, come on, with the draft. We're talking about their draft selections, not their overall state of their team.
Yeah, but at least the Pistons picked 3 players in the top.
Look, if we want to do off-season winners in 3 weeks, then we can have a conversation like this. We should do off-season winners in like 3 weeks when we get closer to the NBA season. Well, we're talking about the draft.
Also, free agency starts in like 24
We're talking
hours.
About the draft.
I'm just saying, shit's gonna get crazy in the NBA like very soon. I mean, shit's already crazy. We've had like 17 people
right now.
Take 3 players in the top 20. You're fucking going for it. New front office, and I like the picks. I like Killian Hayes. I like Stewart. I like Sadiq. Like, I liked what they did here. Nice and aggressive. Took the players they wanted. My other winner, the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies, like, draft, like, Twitter just loves the Grizzlies because every player that you see on just like NBA Twitter that they love, draft wise, picking up in free agency wise, it was Brandon Clark last year. This year, it was Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane's a fantastic outside shooter. He's just older from TCU. Xavier Tillman, Killian Tilly.
Nothing wrong with older either for this Grizzlies. Yeah. I mean, like, obviously they've got their future in Ja and Jaren Jackson. Like, those are their two guys. They don't need more projects there.
Yeah. Between Bane, Tillman, and Tilly, those are three fantastic players that they took.
Fair.
Now we get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
My boy, Leandro Bolmaro. Fucking beast, dude. Love it.
Is he?
I don't. Really
I thought the Knicks were about to draft him.
Bro, I didn't put the Knicks.
I was so excited.
I didn't put the Knicks in my losers, but they should. They should be, bro. There are so many Argentinians in New York. Like, you missed such an opportunity to fucking have Bolmaro. I don't.
We would have brought Pridge back too. You don't think he would have come on as like an assistant coach?
Well, that's the thing. Pridge is in Minnesota.
I know,
which is awesome.
Trust me, I know what Pablo Prigioni is.
I just like. Do you have your Melo Nuggets jersey? Doesn't count.
No.
Other than that, do you have jerseys or sportswear of a team that you don't root for?
I've got that like Irish rugby jersey.
Okay, but do you have a favorite rugby team?
Yeah.
Name me a rugby team.
The Sydney Roosters.
Is that actually a thing?
Yep. Had a Sydney Roosters rugby ball, and my dad went on a business trip there.
Shit. Woo! Sniped that. I couldn't have.
Yeah, no, that is actually a real team. But I also have an Irish rugby jersey. So
okay, but other than that, like a team that you have a rooting interest in, you have another team in that league.
No.
I had a Nets hat. I have no idea where I got it from like 2014, the first year they were in Brooklyn. And you know what? For the past 5-6 years, my brother has had that hat. Like, I haven't seen that hat in ages. I don't believe in.
I had like a high school like girlfriend, again, a high school girlfriend who got me like a Nets hat, but it only said Brooklyn on it.
Oh my God.
So I wore it. It was a black and white like hat that said Brooklyn with a little Nets logo on the side. But because it only said Brooklyn on the front, I wore it for a little bit. But then like the Knicks got good, and I was like, I can't wear a Nets hat. The Knicks got good for like those 2 years. Year and a half.
You with a year. Nets. Like, it's weird. I think it's weird to have sportswear or any sports gear of a team that you don't root for. If you have
absolutely.
Rooting interest.
Absolutely.
I would have fucking gotten a Bolmaro Knicks jersey, bro. Like,
you're not gonna get a Toppin Knicks jersey?
I really want to.
I literally might get.
I want to just so I can add like duct tape on top and just put something just.
I said I wasn't going to go there, so I'm going to cut you off as well. Big losers for me in the draft.
Wait, I have one more winner. Spurs, baby.
Yeah, we know.
Spurs, baby.
Congratulations. The Spurs got the draft right.
But in all seriousness.
I'm shocked. I'm fucking floored.
In all seriousness, who sounds like a better Spur off the bench in the second round than Trey Jones?
Leandro Bolmaro.
Okay, I said second round.
You could have got him in the second, I think, realistically.
Trey Jones, really good defensive guard, the best one left at that point, and one of the best in the.
I didn't love the Trey Jones pick.
I do, just because it's a leader. He's experienced, coming off your bench, very very good defensively.
He doesn't strike me as anything more than like an end of the bench guy, though. Like, I feel like with a late second round pick for a team like the Spurs, who has such a good record of player development, take more of a swing there.
I think
you also have an absolute shit ton of guards right now. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think it's a bad pick. I'm just saying for a team like the Spurs who have such good player development, they don't need a guard by any means.
I just see that becoming like a Patty Mills type of.
It
like
probably
bench general type. That's why. But what you said, like a lot of guards like didn't take a swing. You're right there.
Some of my losers for the draft, I've got Milwaukee and Golden State in there, not necessarily draft related. Milwaukee for.
We're talking about the draft.
Milwaukee for losing out on the Bogdan thing. You're right. And then the Wiseman pick just scares me even more now that Klay's out. because that means Wiseman's going to have to be that much more important. And a lot of the talk about Wiseman was like, oh, well, he can come in and slot outside that Steph, Klay, Draymond 3.
I actually have the opposite reaction to it. I like it more just because it's like we have a player who can contribute for us this year, but also
Do
like
we know that though? He hasn't played.
That's what I said.
Played all of 4 games.
Can. But I like it because it's like, bro, if you're the Warriors without Klay, you're not going to contend this season. You got to start thinking about the future, man. Or you take a step back.
MVP type season from Steph, which
you take a step. But fair to say they take a step back.
And I just think it's cool for Steph, just like as a fan at this point, because like he's gonna have to go God mode.
I'm ready. I love it.
Yeah, I'm excited. You can hop on my next loser with me, the Knicks. Like, come on, guys. You couldn't get a playmaker.
Because you fucking traded Bowman.
You couldn't get the playmaker. Get a guard. If you don't want Tyrese, take Denny. If you don't want either of them, trade the pick. Don't take Obi. Come on. Like, I love him. I
just want to market the shit out of him. I mean, dad.
It's cool. It's cool.
Dad was a Harlem Globetrotter, right?
I think so.
No. Something like that. He was like Dunker's Delight.
He went like outside the Garden last night, took a picture there, which was pretty. That's gotta be crazy. Yeah. You live in New York. I think he was in the Westchester, but like you live in the city, and you get drafted by the Knicks.
I mean, the Knicks are from Westchester.
Excuse me.
Heard me.
It's just
the Nets are more New York team, man.
I mean, I'm like so tempted to hang up on this call right now. Like, it's just wrong. Like, what? Like, I get you're trying to, I got you on the hook, bro. So reel them in.
No, I would be getting you on the hook if I was lying.
The Knicks don't play in New York City. You're right.
I didn't say they don't play in New York City. I'm just saying, like, they practice. All the players live outside.
I will hang up on this Zoom call. I swear.
All right. Anyway, we'll move on before you hang up.
Your losers?
More question mark than a loser with the Hawks. Don't know.
It's gonna be. They're gonna have to get creative. I like
the picks that the Celtics made, but I really thought they were gonna trade up, man. I really thought they were. They have 3 first round picks.
The Celtics are in such a great position where they're not pressed to do anything. I'm sure.
You're right.
So sure Danny Ainge was looking at moving up. I don't know to where. Maybe to 2. Maybe into the top 5. Maybe just into the top 10. For various reasons, apparently he couldn't get it done. Not for a lack of assets. I'm sure it was just he didn't. Danny Ainge isn't going to force a trade.
Look, here's the thing. We got to remember, too. Like, the Celtics had 3 first round picks. I really thought they were going to trade at least one of them. But, like, it's not like every other team was just wheeling and dealing, right? Like, it's not like every other team was wheeling and dealing and, like, they weren't doing anything.
By the same token, I said the Pistons should be more inclined to, like, make that, like, sure, why not trade. The Celtics have no reason to make that.
Oh, absolutely. But, yeah, that's why I said earlier. Like, I have the Celtics as, like, a loser, but, like, it's not fair to them.
All right. We got 25 minutes for the NFL. What a surprise. We didn't stay on our time schedule. That's crazy.
Yeah,
who would have thought
that, man? It's the NBA. It's the draft.
I know. Was I not doing it too?
Yeah, let's be real. Like, there are a lot of times where we try to stay on our schedule and, sometimes we're pretty successful, but we go a little over.
Sometimes. I don't even know if I would say sometimes.
No, we did it. Like, we did pretty good job of staying on schedule with Ethan.
There's one.
I think we've done it a couple other times. But like a lot of times we just fuck it. We don't even try.
Yeah,
we didn't even try today.
It's our show.
Yeah, fuck that.
We're in charge here.
Yeah, let's start with they're tightening their COVID restrictions because the league's getting scared, dude. I've had a lot of outbreaks, and they're like, we gotta figure something out.
If there was room to tighten the restrictions, like.
No, there is. They tightened.
I'm saying, like, if there was room to tighten the restrictions more, like, where was the tightening? Like, what space did you have? I mean,
Titans.
Oh, boo, trash. No, don't dance. That was garbage. That was like bottom tier pun I've heard in the last week, and I've been hanging out with Josh Hayden, and I've heard some bottom tier puns. Let me tell you.
Fair enough.
We've got some really fun games starting tonight, Thursday Night Football.
We got tier 1.
Cards Seahawks might very well be the game of the week for me.
Wow. I really don't know what the game of the week is.
I think it's Cards Seahawks in terms of like matchup and divisional importance.
Yeah.
A winner of this, I believe, would get the first round bye or take over who would get the first round bye.
Maybe. No.
I was trying to sort it out. I was like trying to like do the playoff numbers in my head.
No, probably not. Because if either team moves to 7-3, the Packers can win this week. They're 7-2.
Oh, so if Green Bay loses, I think then whoever wins this takes. Yeah. I'm not quite sure. Whoever wins this puts themselves in a huge position. And honestly, I think the pressure's on Seattle because otherwise, well, if Seattle doesn't win, then Arizona's beaten them twice.
Yeah. Also, Tampa Bay can move to 8-3.
We'll get there.
New Orleans can move to 8-2.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, I want to talk about Thursday Night Football right here. So I know. No, I'm not. I want to talk about Thursday Night Football. This should just be a fun game.
Yeah.
Like this should be like one of those games.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a Rams Chiefs type of game?
Just a blowout?
Well, I'm not saying blowout. I mean like
not blowout. Yeah, shootout. Yeah,
shootout. I think it's very possible.
It's very possible. I mean, the Cardinals' defense is not as bad as people think. They're by no means. They're not good. They blitz a lot because they have to make up for Chandler Jones not being there anymore. The Seahawks also have to bring pressure with Bobby Wagner and with Jamal Adams because they have no pass rush and they have no secondary.
Well, the Seahawks have like the worst defense in the league.
Yeah, but they have.
See the new Brett Coleman video on them?
No.
The Legion of Room. I like that a lot. Legion of Room? What do you mean room? That's terrible?
What do you mean room? Just there's a lot of room?
There's a lot of room when the Seahawks are playing defense. They leave guys open. As opposed to Legion of Boom.
Terrible.
Legion of Room. I like it a lot. You got to recalibrate your puns, bro. Come on.
Legion of Room? That's terrible.
Whatever. I think this is game of the week, realistically.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right. Another good one.
I know. Just super important for both teams. I think this is starting to get borderline must win for Seattle.
The only reason I don't think it's must win for Seattle is because realistically, both these teams need this game. When I talk about a must win game, I talk about a game that like
yes, but
you
Seattle
cannot afford to lose.
Seattle loses this game, they're 1-3 in division.
They're still in great position to make the playoffs, but it's like because only one team makes the bye, losing the division is not the death sentence that it was. It's not as big like a loss because 6 out of the 7 teams are not getting a bye.
I put this in the rundown, and I had to explain it a couple times just because I didn't explain it at all well in here. The 17.
Let me just preface this. No. Matias put this segment in the rundown.
Yeah, you read it word for word.
I must have read it like 5 or 6 times before I texted Matias saying, "What on earth is?" I'm gonna read what was in here before we made any edits. The 7 teams in NFC are probably locked in parentheses. 7-3 Bucks, 6-3 Rams, 6-3 Hawks, 5-5 Bears, 4-3 Vikings, 4-5 Lions. Missing from that group, the Packers, the New Orleans Saints, whoever the hell wins the NFC East. I had no idea what this was supposed to mean.
I really can't say anything because, like, I did a terrible job explaining. Oh, and then after it says, what LOL? NFC East ? Green Bay ? New Orleans ? NFC only one not locked in. What I meant to say was the teams that I had there are teams that, like those are the teams that are already in a playoff position besides the NFC East are the teams that are going to make it probably just because Bears, Vikings, Lions, I have no faith. But we'll move on.
I don't understand why you included them in something that said teams that are
I don't know why I just randomly put some. Okay, whatever. Titans, Ravens, 1 p.m. Also, banger of a game.
Yeah. Ravens got to exercise some demons, man.
Baltimore's got to come out.
You got to come out and smoke Tennessee. Big time smoke them. Like, big Truz, Lamar Jackson, like, doing his thing, MVP Lamar.
This is 2 teams that are right now out of the playoffs. No, sorry, the Ravens are in.
Well, the winner of this game likely moves into the 7 seed, which is absurd.
It's crazy.
Yeah. A big game for both teams. We kind of have to run through this, unfortunately. Packers Colts, that's a 425 on Sunday. Last time Green Bay played a really good defense in Tampa Bay, they got worked. So I'd be a little bit scared. I'm really strongly considering benching Aaron Rodgers in fantasy this week in favor of the one and only Jameis Winston, just because I think that Saints-Falcons game is going to be an absolute shootout.
God.
Aaron Rodgers shit the bed against Tampa. Put up like 4 points.
I don't know if it's going to be a shootout. I mean, Saints defense is really good. Saints defense is good.
You know what Matt Ryan's numbers are against New Orleans' his last 4 games?
Probably very good.
Like 1,300 yards, like 8 or 9 touchdowns. Like, no, he's been smoking New Orleans.
Jameis time, baby. My thoughts on this is that, that Packers blowout against the Bucs, it was because the offensive line could not hold up. Like, the Bucs completely sieged them. The Colts, the Colts
are arguably a better defense than the Bucs.
But they don't send
pressure.
Not
even arguably. Statistically, they're a better defense.
But they're bottom of the league in blitz percentage, which is the big thing.
It's working.
My big thing for this, it's still very good defense against the Packers. My big thing is with Lazard coming back, obviously that is not a game-breaking wide receiver. But the big question we always have is, do the Packers have enough weapons on offense? Because they have Aaron Rodgers, they have Devontae Adams, they have Aaron Jones.
I think they actually need to get Jamal Williams more involved, but
But between those three, that should be enough. But against a defense as good as the Colts, that's the question for me in here.
The reason I'm concerned is because the last time the Packers faced a really good defense, they looked awful.
They got their boots smoked.
You're gonna have to beat good defenses if you want to make it into the Super Bowl. It's that simple. Monday Night Football, I know, wild. Another really good matchup. 6-3 Rams at the 7-3 Bucks. The huge matchup is obviously that Rams pass rush versus Tampa's offensive line. Both strength on strength. That's going to just be fun.
That was Tampa's problem. That was Tampa's problem when they got blown out by the Saints, is that they couldn't handle the pass rush at all.
Which was weird because their line has been good this season.
It's been good, but
it strikes me as like a type of game where it's like you just got out schemed, and I feel like that's a game where it sucks in the moment, but that's a game where you just go back and
throw it out
and film. Opposite actually, where it was so obvious that like whatever the Saints were doing with their pressures worked so well. You go back and you say, "Shit! Like what did they see out of our line, out of our protections?"
I think that was the first game that Marpet didn't play. Coincidence? I think not.
He's
a very good offensive lineman. It's the interior of Tampa Bay, which is their question mark. I don't know if he's going to play this week. And obviously you got a man named Aaron Donald. I'm really excited to see, Jalen Ramsey versus Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, whoever it ends up.
And he'll be on Evans.
Yeah, I would think so. But the next game we got tier 2.
Only one our tier 2s here.
Which I'm the one that ended up ranking these games. Obviously, we both put a lot of information. You agree with this? I mean, there are a lot of really good games. There are a lot of games that are like, okay.
I think this game is in the right position. It's not quite that elite, like must-see game, but it's better than all of our tier 3 games by a lot.
It's a good. We called tier 2 good games with meaning. It's Kansas City at 8-1, at Vegas coming in at 6-3. Sunday Night Football. It's prime time. Vegas already beat Kansas City.
Lost the season.
Week 5. And Vegas appears to be, at the least, a solid football team.
Well, I think Vegas – I said this, I think, last week or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. It seems like the Las Vegas Raiders are exactly what what we thought they were, which is a good, not great team. 6-3, pretty solid. Do I think they're going to run the table, finish 13-3, 12-4? Probably not. I think they end up as a 9 or 10 win team. Mm-hmm. But if 2 of those wins are against the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning Super Bowl champions, that looks really good. And that, I'd say, scares the shit out of Kansas City.
Well, because Vegas came out with a super wacky game plan against Kansas City. And that's basically the only thing you can do to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, you can't
at this point. Game. I just really want to see what they do defensively, because the first half they let the Chiefs literally just throw the ball all over them, just so when they could come out in the second half, they showed them new looks, and the Chiefs were like, wait, shit, we didn't see that, which is super interesting concept, but it worked.
Yeah.
So
next tier of games, I'll let you break down this game. Pats at the Texans. That's a 1 p.m. I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
Your first line on this rundown, New England challenging for AFC.
Damn right.
You don't mean that. You don't mean that.
Damn right.
No, you don't.
Just beat the Ravens. Why not? Just beat the Ravens. Why not? 2 games out.
Because Bill Belichick sacrificed like 4 newborn children to create a fucking monsoon the last 2 minutes.
Well, guess what? They were still winning before that monsoon, Ben. Newsflash. Look. You're New England. You're New England. You're 2 games out of the wild card. You just beat the Ravens. fuck it. Why not say you're at least? I said challenging for AFC, still a ways to go. Yes, they have a long ways to go, but New England wins this game. They're 5-5.
Are you worried at all about Deshaun Watson just torching you?
Yes, of course. I don't know if Gilmore's going to play this week. But if there's our pass defense is a lot better than our run defense. My most interesting thing here that I want to see is because there have been so many good Patriots running backs over the years, and let me finish, that have just come in and like run.
And you know what I'm going to say.
No, yeah. They've come in and run really well for a game or two or three or whatever, and then they're no one after that. I get that. It's a system stable. It always has been. I don't know.
Wow, system and stable. Nice.
A system stable. Yeah.
I like that.
Thanks.
And they're not stable, but.
No, come on, let's see if the Cabanas. Look, I mean, Damian Harris is young. He's a high draft pick, and the staff really likes him.
Where did they pick him? Was he a second?
He's a second, yeah. They really like him, and there's a lot of buzz coming into this season. He ran a couple back-to-back games. He's looked really good. Houston has a terrible run defense. I just really want to see snap counts, how many carries they give him.
This seems like a game that the Pats come out, run the shit out of the ball. Cam Newton gets super involved in the running game, and the Pats win. That's it. I'd love to see them lose. Next game here.
Thanks, Ben.
Eagles.
Wait,
what do you think I was going to say?
We never said what this tier is called.
Oh, there's a reason to watch. You've got a reason to watch the Pats game.
I think it's fair for most
Eagles
of
at Browns.
Ugh.
This is just I don't see any way Cleveland loses this game.
Which means they'll lose.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, exactly. Which means they're gonna come out super flat when they have the last 3 weeks and lose this game. Philly's so bad. Yeah. Philly's awful. You asked, can Carson Wentz get it going again? No. Carson Wentz is trash. Like I don't understand
Cleveland's
how Philly fans look at Carson Wentz and are like, "Yep, that's my starting quarterback. He's really good."
I just think they're interesting matchups, just because Cleveland's.
Because it's gonna be really fun to talk shit to Josh in the chat.
Oh, this is a win-win for us. Because look, if Philly loses. No, our big group chat at school.
We've got a lot of personal implications in this one.
Hear us out, folks. And I bet there's nothing more entertaining than us just talking about our friends that you guys don't know.
Hey, Jake Smith's in the chat right now. He knows what we're talking about.
Okay, so if Philly wins, our good friend Josh Hayden, we can talk endless shit to him because they lost to Philly, right?
Yep.
If Cleveland wins, we can talk endless shit to Elliot Bauer and Matt Fleischer, two of our very good Eagles fans, which I think just for the sake of us, I think it would be better if Philly lost this.
Yeah, Philly losing would be awesome.
Because
admittedly, as a Giants fan, I'd actually rather see them win.
It's interesting, too, with Cleveland, their game against the Raiders and their game against the Texans. Although, especially the Texans one looked really bad because they rely on the run and they did not blow out the Texans, who have a terrible run defense, although Hunt and Chubb had very good games.
Look, I've said this about the Browns. Wait,
let me finish. Vegas weather was terrible, right? Super windy.
Cleveland.
Well, when they played Vegas, I mean.
Weather for the game in Cleveland where they played Las Vegas.
Yes. Also, I'm very proud of myself that I haven't called them the Oakland Raiders in a while. I just keep calling them Vegas.
Nice.
Thanks, man. Then their game against Houston, also bad weather. It's going to be 40 and rainy against Philly. Philly has a good run defense. Cleveland relies on the run. We don't know anything about Cleveland. We're not going to learn it this week.
Yeah. Atlanta, New Orleans, that's a 1:00. Just seems to me like, because it's in New Orleans, take the over. Take the over. It's going to be Jameis time. He's going to be hucking the ball down the field. Mike Thomas has another week to kind of get back into the flow of the offense. I think this will be the week where we see Mike Thomas get that 10 for 155 and a touchdown type of game.
I hope so in my other league.
Targets.
We can talk about some controversy in our
Actually,
league.
We're gonna run through this slate.
Yeah.
I am taking you to town. All right. Miami, Denver. That's a 405. This is the game. This is a game where the Dolphins can figure out, can prove that they belong. In my opinion.
I mean, I don't know.
They should beat Denver.
They should beat them handily.
They should beat Denver.
Denver's 3-5. They're not a good football team.
Exactly.
This next one.
Steelers at the Jags.
Oh boy.
This should be ugly. This should be really ugly. The Packers only beat the Jags by 8 last week. 7, 8,
7, I think. 6.
6. No, it was 2014.
6,
You're
right?
right.
Yeah. And the Jags had the ball with the chance to go out and win it.
Yes. There's a reason they didn't, but
Because they're not good.
this should be a blowout. This should be an absolute.
Pittsburgh should have won by like 25. At least.
Our tier 4 games here. I'm going to read you
They're
all
called
games.
whatever.
This might be the worst bottom tier we've had all season.
This is bad.
Hear us out.
This is bad.
We've got Detroit at Carolina, which is the closest game there. If there's someone listening other than Joe Guido who has any rooting interest in a Lions-Panthers game, send us a message. Let me know how we can help.
Oh,
We've got Bengals at the football team. That's a 1 p.m. We've got the Jets at the Chargers. The Chargers at 2 are better than 2-7. They're still not good, and they're gonna smoke the Jets, obviously. And then we've got the Cowboys at the Vikings. That's a 4:25. I mean,
all right.
Ugly,
One thought.
ugly 4.
I'll run through what we have on the rundown. Tell me if there's anything you want to add. Detroit came out of nowhere, 4-5. Their schedule on the way out, it's Carolina, Houston, Chicago, Green Bay, Tennessee, Tampa Bay, Vikings. They can win 2.
They'll finish 500.
They can win. Yeah, I had them going 8-8 this season.
Congrats.
Thanks. Carolina, Bridgewater is extremely limited, but he's moving around well. I don't know what the fuck that means. McCaffrey's not playing again.
I saw he's not playing because I'm starting him in John's hometown league. So
okay. What I had written down for 2-6-1 Bengals at the 2-7 Washington football team is The more important news, though, is that Washington is considering keeping the fucking name as the Washington football team.
I don't hate
that. Should be no. That shouldn't be allowed. That shouldn't be allowed. You should not be able to be called the Washington football team.
It's funny.
Come on.
It's funny.
Okay, it's funny for us, but
that's why I wanted to keep it.
How much of an embarrassment of a fucking franchise do you have to be to be like, we're
Matias, who are we talking about here? Who are we talking about?
You're right, but bro, that shouldn't be allowed. You have to have a fucking name, man. Come on.
I think it'd be really funny. Jazz traded Ed Davis to the Knicks. Let's go.
You got Ed Davis?
Yes, Ed Davis to the Knicks.
I like Ed Davis, but why did you just trade for a fucking power forward?
Because we just waived Taj and Bobby Portis. So we had to reload, obviously.
Bobby.
Jets, Chargers, that's going to be a shit show. Chargers are going to smoke them, realistically.
Yep, I have nothing to say about this.
And then Vikings, Cowboys. Hope
Dallas
you got Dalvin
is terrible,
Cook.
even with
Dalvin Cook.
Minnesota, again, out of nowhere, 5-5.
Speaking of Dalvin Cook, and speaking of fantasy football.
Wow, that was a weird transition.
Yeah, well, you didn't fill out your bets, and our power rankings didn't change. So we're going to talk about.
Oh, you filled out your bets.
I filled out mine, yeah.
Oh, nice. My bad.
All right. Matias here is the commissioner of the fantasy football league that our main fantasy football league that we talk about on the show. It's Matias and I. Some names you might recognize: Josh, Stratton, Elliot. I'm missing half the league. John, Dr. D.
Dr. D.
Tiger, if you ever heard us talk about an actual human being named Tiger, he's in the league. Our friend Jack Hamilton, one of my roommates in the league. It's the main league of all our friends. I'm sure most of you listening are in one of those leagues. It was brought to our attention this week that there were going to be, so we're a league that does the playoffs 13, 14, and then 15, 16. So you don't get stuck in that weird position where you've got some studs playing week 17, but it's like, are they going to play?
Yeah, the Steelers,
are their teams going to rest them? Anyone on the Steelers? Anyone on the Chiefs? Like, it
for
sucks.
background on this, NFL buys usually end week 12.
Yes.
They're now on week 13 because of COVID.
Yes. Matias texted our fantasy group chat.
Like a good commissioner.
I'll give you that before you ruined the league. Like a good commissioner, he says, or no, you voted my way. We voted the same way.
Yeah, why would I? Yeah, I didn't.
And you ruined the league in other ways. But anyways, brought to our attention that there were week 13 buys, which was our first week of the playoffs.
And no one had realized.
No one, which is admittedly all of our faults.
Yeah,
it's no one's fault that no one realized.
No one's fault.
It was announced. The NFL released their schedules.
I'm a commissioner of another league too, and I didn't realize in that one too.
Yeah.
Either.
So it basically got brought to a vote as to whether or not we wanted to extend our regular season to week 13
because
we didn't want guys playing on buys in the playoffs.
The Bucks and the Panthers have bye.
Yeah.
Week 13. And like, this is Jake Glennon. If you're listening, this is on you for drafting 4 players that have a bye very late in the season. That's
also,
on you.
your issue for drafting Christian McCaffrey and not Mike Davis. But
what? Anyway.
That's just the Mike Davis owner in me talking. But I want to know, for everyone listening, Matias and I both agree here that it's too late in the season to change the fucking rules of the league. We are 2 weeks away from the playoffs. 2 teams theoretically just got eliminated from the playoffs the week before in our league. Get fucked, Josh and Eric.
Yep, and then I miscalculated that because
you shouldn't have even brought it to a vote. That's an executive order through and through.
Executive ordered it. I should have just
basically it came down to a probably hour and a half long conversation in our group chat, and I mean like a conversation. Like everybody was.
I was really impressed with the boys that everyone was talking.
You know, we've had some court cases in our friend group before, and they've been pretty well argued, I would say. I'll give me a minute.
There were a couple of listeners that have been.
A couple listeners that know what we're talking about.
That have been in the live that know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Shout out that fish. Shout out that fish, by the way.
It came down to a 5-4 vote that we will be extending our league to a Week 13 regular season, running Week 14 as the lone round of our first round of the playoffs, and then our standard Week 15-16 championship weeks. I think the integrity of the league has been compromised.
Yeah.
Entirely.
I think there's been collusion. And my fault here, the shitty thing is that I thought that, like, and I should have.
That you couldn't figure out how to count or read.
Well, yeah, Charlie, your illiteracy has fucked us again.
We were voting in the group on what option.
Okay, let me.
There are 5 on this one. It's locked in, and we're all sitting there.
I sent the group. No. I sent the screenshot where on my phone for some reason it kept saying that there were 5 votes there. The problem here.
You also still can't read or count, but
also true. The problem here is that we have 10 members in the league. And only 9 were eligible to vote because John Salerno, our good friend, is 2-7.
Because you disenfranchised that man.
Yeah, whatever. He's eliminated from contention. He doesn't have a vote. I would have kept the vote for people that are still in playoff contention. And my thought was that Eric and Josh, who were 2 teams that had been eliminated, were in fact eliminated. The problem was that they were mathematically long shot.
They weren't eliminated.
They were not eliminated. They probably were not going to make the playoffs. The problem is, obviously, they voted to extend the season because it gives them the most chances.
Look, everyone voted along the ways that they thought would most benefit their team.
Yeah.
And they voted to ruin the integrity of the league and change the rules that we agreed on.
That was stupid.
Like, I get the case that, the NFL added Week 13 buys. We can adapt, but, like, it's too late in the season. It changes everything.
It sucks that we had to
There are 9 teams eligible for the playoffs now.
It sucks. It sucks that we had to add another week. And also it sucks that we're only going to have – 3 things suck. 1, we added another league 2 weeks before the season ended. 2, we only have 1 week in the playoffs in the first round, which I don't like.
That's what they're doing, and that's what the Sleeper League does. But I'm also not worried about the Sleeper League.
And 3, now I have to fucking manually press it. Like, I have to do it.
And it's all your fault.
Because
you could have executive ordered it.
Okay, also, ESPN. Bro, why? Why can you only do the same length for playoff matchups? Why can you not do like 1 week for the first round and 2 weeks for the second round? Like, that's so stupid. Now
we're talking about the guys who made Matthew Berry's love-hate behind the paywall.
Oh yeah, fuck that, man.
Come on.
I needed that shit, man.
I don't care if you want to make Matthew Berry a premium guy. Let love-hate be free. Come on. Like, say what you will about like
those videos are weird, man. Those videos are weird.
And like, at least they made his like intro in the article free, because those intros are always really interesting. If that's the only thing you read from Matthew Berry, his like love-hate intros, which are like a whole like short feature story. Do you not read those?
Not always.
Bro, I'm so dead serious. Read them. It's really interesting. They're like full feature stories, and then he gets into talking about like fantasy football. It's cool. It's pretty cool. I'll send you the next. I think the current one's out. But
yeah, it is out.
Fuck you, ESPN. Fuck you.
It sucks, man. Worldwide leader in
Ed Davis and 2 2023 second
round picks.
I can work with that.
Oh, Knicks get 2 second-round picks.
I can work with that.
And we got to get off, because if we stay on any longer, then we're going to have a lot of breaking trades probably.
Yo.
you guys made it this far in the podcast. I appreciate it, first of all. Beers on me next time. Just kidding, I'm broke. If you were watching us on IG, you probably heard us say it. Ben's Wi-Fi went out, and I wish I could post the screenshot of what his face froze on because it was rough. But all the audio froze up for our mailbag question. Unfortunately, sorry about that, guys. So I'm just here recording the outro right now. You can obviously listen to us on Spotify, Apple Pods, Google Pods, Breaker. Of course, shout out to Anchor for helping us put this podcast together and get it out there. Follow us on Twitter, at Instagram. Both of those are our regular handles. Twitter, obviously, 2Floor Sports, and our new TikTok. Hell yeah. That's a little embarrassing, but oh well. We will talk to you guys next week. Probably going back to our Monday, Thursday schedule eventually. Don't know if that's going to be next week just because it's Thanksgiving. I just picked up 2 jobs. Ben's going home. So next week might be a little wacky, but stay tuned to our Instagram, our Twitter, and our TikTok. We will post updates on when we'll be back on. Much better on the first take. I guess I'm a little rusty without Ben. I will talk to you guys next week. Hopefully Ben's Wi-Fi gets things sorted out for then.